Well, let's Helsinki into this episode.
Oh.
Let's Finland on something we agree on.
Talk about all the Helsinki everyone went through in France.
What do you sinky about this? We're in the semi-Finland alley. Ooh!
Hey everyone, welcome to Detours.
Welcome to Dweebors. Welcome to our recap of The Amazing Race Season 37. This ep was one of my favorite episodes in the entire series so far.
Wow.
You can really feel, we talked about this last time, but you can really feel
the tension.
The stakes are raising for everybody. So many things that weren't shown.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a good recap because there's a lot to talk about both in the game and things that you didn't see in the game.
I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're down with the spoilers, so I'm going to be slurping on my blueberry rush.
I think it's blue raspberry rush.
Blue raspberry rush. Lolly today from the Sweet Tooth Fairy to commemorate our fallen troops. This one really hurts.
This one hurt.
But what I will say is I've been waiting to eat this flavor.
That blue raspberry rush. Firstly, we open up our clue and we go to Jem's travel agency in Italy, which I remember so well.
Yeah.
Because Jack and I were one of the last teams to arrive, obviously. And we remember so vividly, we sensed when we were walking in there were the other teams there, except for, I think Jonathan and Anna had left.
Yep.
Mark and Brett were at the counter. And
spreading lies.
They had made a pact. Alison, Josiah, and Brett and Mark, who are some of our closest people. We love them so much. So, like, this is not shade, but
no, it's
they
iconic.
had planned. It's so iconic. They had planned to lie to us about which flight they were getting on, so that we get on a different flight. We had sensed the energy was not right in there, and then we went outside. We looked ourselves, and we found out that there was a closer flight. And we decided not to tell them, but we sort of knew. We think that they know, but they're playing us. Anyway, it didn't end up meaning anything, and so it was cut out of the episode.
But they were trying to do some trickery.
They were trying to trick us boots, which I think is kind of amazing. We touched down in Germany. More drama! We had to get on a train to Strasbourg, France. The trains kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. Hours and hours and hours, like 4 hours, like something crazy. And so what ended up happening is me and Jack and Han and Holden ended up going to a different booth or something like that and getting tickets to the wrong... They gave us tickets to the wrong place or whatever. But we had so many hours now that the other people's trains were delayed that we were able to figure it out.
Yeah.
But there was going to be drama there that we were going to go to the wrong
It
ticket.
was this place called Strasbourg.
Not
Germany.
Strasbourg.
Not Strasbourg.
Yes.
So then
but of course, we're just telling the
like
people.
tweaking
So
and freaking out.
we were like, they gave us the wrong tickets. Whatever.
Switch it. It was a whole to-do.
Yes.
But yeah, we almost went to a different city entirely. Kind of.
And then, even more drama, we touched down, but we were supposed to make the connection in another part. Was it in Germany or was it on the cusp of France? I think it was still in Germany.
Yeah, we got on this train that was in the middle of the night. And then we got off on this place where we had a transfer, and the transfer wasn't until the morning.
Yes, so because we missed the connection.
Right, because everyone missed the first train because there was hours of delay.
So then we were gonna sleep in the train station. People were like trying to find, it was so... Like, there's no bathrooms.
There was no bathroom.
And then also there were, like, these people wandering around, and security was like, stop coming near us or whatever. Yeah. And then it became such a big thing. They were like, we have to
book y'all a hotel for 4 hours.
Yeah. Which was crazy. And then, but obviously this wasn't a planned thing. And so there wasn't enough space at one hotel. So we all split up to these different hotels.
We had, like, chaperones.
Yeah,
vibes.
We had, like chaperones.
You had to, like, one producer went with half the teams, and the other half the teams went with another producer, and you woke up literally 4 hours later. Like, it was like power nap in the middle of the night.
And this is all before the, like, even begins, basically.
Yeah,
like,
crazy.
It's like, we're so exhausted, but we eventually get on the train, get to Strasbourg.
And so it begins.
But once again, something that you didn't see because it didn't affect much is that we run out. We were told to go to the Indigo parking lot,
structure.
I believe.
Yes. There was one really close to the station, but I think this was also like a big company where there was like several different Indigos.
Mark and Brett
bolted it.
It became this huge mob bolting out of the airport.
So we decided to follow, and we went a long way.
Yeah.
People started to turn back. I think Jonathan and Anna and then us started to turn back, and then Alyssa and Josiah, and then Mark and Brett just like kept going and going and going. And that's why they sort of started off behind, and then they also got lost in the car.
Yeah.
So they sort of had like a whole navigational crisis,
well, and that's what we were concerned about, because self-drive has been our weakest so far on the race. But of course, we find out that the cars are automatic, which means that we can switch places.
Oh yeah, you got in the front. And you were like,
it's automatic. Switch. Jack is the much better and more patient driver. I am the better navigator.
Yeah, definitely.
Bring it here, girl. We slayed
completely ate
the self-driving.
I know.
We made practically zero mistakes.
Although I was really proud. I think people probably at home were probably like, oh no.
I know,
not
but
this again. And interestingly, we were kind of the only people who didn't have a freak out while driving.
Yeah, I know. But that also could have been helped by, I definitely think this changing of the positions in the car, like we were where we're meant to be kind of, but also you speak French a little bit.
I don't think that's what it is. Here's what I think is what it is.
Okay, talk to me.
This was the first time I feel like would ask for someone's phone, and we'd sit down for straight up like 10 or 15 minutes and write down every single step,
like, every single thing that was on the phone,
and it was like 45 minutes away, so it was like there were a ton of steps. And that's why I think like Jonathan being like, come on, we gotta go, because in fairness, we were there writing down directions for like a long time. Yeah. But I think that was the right decision.
I think
was
so
like,
too.
Just make sure you have the directions,
all the information,
spend a few extra minutes rather than having to pull over again and being lost. Maybe you've gone in the wrong direction. Better to just do it once.
We drive to the Council of Europe. But was it a little shady? I do remember we were third in line, and when we get up, that door was closed, and we realized it was a different door. We run into the different door.
I don't think that's shady.
I don't think it is either.
It's a race, girl.
I don't think it is either. But in the moment, I was like, ooh.
There were some. I think there were some feelings about it.
There were some feelings about it. Well, but it's interesting too, because that's exactly how Alyssa and Josiah felt about the elevator that we were talking about. But also, we're here, you know.
It's also like, fine, because it's like you can be mad about whatever you want. It's a race. I don't care. You know, like like I honestly don't care. And also, like, if I was mad at someone else during the race, like I'm allowed to be mad about something else as well. You know, like anyone can be mad about anything. You know, like
but it's
like,
all good. Yeah. So we get in there. I remember actually we got these name tags. We had to go through
visitor name tags.
Yeah, we had to go through a lot of security to be in the Council of Europe. Yeah. And so it was like, also we were not allowed to run. Yeah. There were these like velvet stairs. And so we were like trying to power walk kind of through this
to race to the front.
Yeah, to race to these doors. We get in there. Jack, you're our geography and politics expert to me.
It was easy.
I was like, Jack, please answer. And
we have to go to the Pont Couvert or something.
Yeah, I didn't remember that, but that's my French expert.
Head to head. Now this was fucking sick.
This was
amazing. It was so tense.
It was so tense because those boats were going so slow.
Yeah.
It was a head-to-head unlike anything. I mean, I guess I've never experienced a head-to-head on The Amazing Race as a player before, but I'm saying if it was like, you know, the wheelbarrow race or whatever, you're like, go, like, woo! Like,
yeah.
You know, this was just something silent, drifting slowly towards your opponent.
Something
it was
super dramatic about when a show that's super fast-paced has to slow down.
Yeah.
And builds that tension, especially because it's like player versus player combat.
Yes.
Now, I was happy that the head-to-head was not at the final just before the mat.
You know what?
I think this was perfectly placed.
People are saying that it is the best head-to-head
placement. It should be like this always. And I think a head-to-head is an amazing twist that should be every season. Like it was so cool to see teams actually facing off on something.
I know. I love the head-to-head, but I agree. It has to be well placed, and this is where it belongs. Loved it. I will say I understand everybody who was getting frustrated when they lost. Because it was such a build-up to it. There was not a sense of like, oh, I got it now. It's like, well, I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Kind of. I'm going to try to be more balanced.
My stance is better.
Yeah, but it's like not really. So it was really nerve-wracking. And when you failed, you felt like I haven't really made progress, like
right,
starting
right.
again.
There's nothing I can do to practice again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Han for sure killed it.
Han ate. That was so cool.
Yeah. And then
you ate.
Face off against Jonathan. And again, I feel like what I'm learning is that you think it's a strength challenge, but actually I think when you're stronger on top, it throws off your balance.
The taller you are, it might actually be harder.
Yeah, height. Yeah, is interesting.
It was so cool.
Nice.
I hope you feel cool.
I do. I do
sounds
feel
like
cool.
You feel a little after losing. It sounded like you felt a little shame. I hope you feel cool now.
No, I mean, I do feel cool, but it also is one of those things where it's balanced, where it's like, I didn't like completely slay it because I also lost, but that's fine. And then we have to go from there to the cheese shop.
Yes.
This cheese challenge was extremely difficult.
What they
We've
make
learned
it show on TV, they make it seem like after you made a mistake that they would stop you.
No, you
so
went
that
through
you
all
could
of them.
like use like an elimination. You know, like, oh, I know I got that one wrong, so you could like use that to inform you. No.
You completed the whole thing, and then
they would just say no.
They didn't tell you what was wrong.
Yeah.
And we've learned, y'all learned in Italy, that my palate is not necessarily that
refined.
Of a Michelin star experience. So to me, these were cheese.
What was hard also was that when we were testing them inside, they were tiny little cubes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we couldn't actually see the wedge. And then when we got outside, you only saw the wedge.
Yeah.
And so there were some that were like in the tasting room, it would just be like, you know, an off-white cheese. But then when you see it, there's ones that have like strips of blue in the middle or things like that like you wouldn't see inside.
Right, so you'd be like, that one isn't blue.
Yeah. And so there was just like some weird things.
It was tough.
It was really tough. The way that this one like sent everyone into spirals.
I mean,
like,
the fact that we were all there was like insane.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I know when Mark and Brett caught up, I feel like everyone was like,
shoot. Yeah.
oh my God. And Melissa and Josiah and the Express Pass play.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
When they showed up and they were like, she was like, we should use the Express Pass. And he was like, I don't know. What would you have done if you had the Express Pass, you think?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It all depends. Like when Alyssa said in Italy, right? Like the only way I'm using this Express Pass is if everyone shows up, I trip, I break my legs, I forget what a pizza is.
I need to be airlifted to...
You know, and I think that was Josiah's mentality during this is like, we're not broken up, busted, beaten, and horrible right now. It's like tense, but it's not necessarily dire. And then when it did get dire, they used it.
Yeah.
Definitely don't think it was a bad
within your brain telling you like it's just a route info. I don't want to waste this on just a route info task.
When there could be something so major coming up. Yeah.
Sure enough, of course, this one seemed like the hardest task of the day.
Yeah. Han and Holden get it. We get it. We run with them basically. Well, we meet up with them. We sort of catch up to them at the castle.
Getting there,
we climb up this castle
God.
Hard,
so
but
stairs.
So cool. I loved it.
Did you see Mark climbing the stairs on
all fours?
And knees? Yeah,
girl, I was definitely doing that sometimes. I was like, that's smart. They were so vertical that it was like you could, your hands were already there.
Yeah,
you know,
true,
it's like, but it was so cool. I just loved like we were really dipping into like this medieval like what we like.
Why are we recording in the castle?
Right? so cool. Going up to the top of that castle.
And we were like,
yeah.
Dirty laundry or stork nest realness. I don't remember the name.
Yeah, I forget how we decided to do this, but I think
I remember why.
Okay.
I think it goes back again to the strategy we feel like we had to learn.
Make progress.
Which was like, make progress. Like, if you're scrubbing laundry, at least it's getting cleaner. You know what I mean? As opposed to if you're doing some stork thing and it has to be perfect. You have to do one thing perfectly instead of like clothes, which was like do 25 things.
Yeah. Honestly, and this is obviously the thing that gets the least screen time, but it's weirdly the thing I'm most proud of us for is these directions.
I know.
Going 45 minutes outside of the city. We
killed
it. We every turn, everything. It felt like redemption, that like, oh no, we're not idiots.
Yeah.
Like that we thought we were in Bulgaria. I loved those queens.
Oh my God.
Chatting.
I really wish they like added subtitles so that we know what they said.
I know. Well, somebody said that they actually were speaking Alsace or whatever. Alsace.
There was no trick to this.
Yeah.
You just had to like
scrub.
Identify the things and scrub.
From there on out, it was a pretty simple day for us. So let's round out us and then talk about everybody else. Okay. We scrub this thing right as we're ending. Han and Holden show up. We get in this car, and just like everyone, it was very, very, very hard to find this pit stop. It was like you get to almost like it was a fork in the road in this field, and you didn't know whether to go down this like. It was these two crazy paths, and there were these
arrows from the race telling you where to go, but it was placed in a way that was like there's two directions, here and here, and the arrow was placed like here or something, like to the right of both of them, and so it was like, well, is it telling me to go on the left?
Is it telling me to go
the one closest to the arrow? I don't know.
But we eventually make it. We eventually find the right thing, and Jack, we run through that field. Woo! First place.
Hell yeah. Third first.
Yes, it felt so good after this sort of moment of us feeling like we were at the back of the pack for a long time. And running through that field with all the grape, and also we had to do it several times as well. Like they had to redo that because it was such a beautiful shot. Yeah, the drone needed to do it a bunch of times.
Well, we got points equal to a trip to Helsinki, Finland. I saw someone say it sounded like he said that we've won a trip to hell, because apparently at first he said you won a trip equal to trip for two to Helsinki or something. And it was like, oh my God. But I'm proud of us for this one.
I'm really proud,
because there was like an express pass in play, and we still eked it out. So proud of us. So proud of our directional comeback. I think also like a lot of people, maybe both in the race and just online, and maybe even ourselves to some extent, like counted us out a little bit. And then to have that be like, you know what? It's anyone's game.
Yeah.
You know?
It was a really beautiful, really moving day. But let's talk about us being moved
in a different way.
In other ways. This scramble with the other four teams was so crazy to watch because we didn't experience it. We had heard about it, how intense it was, the switching of the places. Yeah, it was just chaos.
It was crazy. It was crazy. And for Mark and Brett to be like sort of last all episode, but then they show up to the detour second and they leave third.
But they also leave and they see Han and Holden. Like everyone really is racing. Yeah. And unfortunately, our kings.
This one hurt a whole lot to watch. Like my stomach was like in knots. Maybe it's just a product of the longer you spend with these people, the harder it becomes to and you don't even get to say goodbye. And so it's very strange. And also just like they're so sweet to each other, and I think as gay people it's just like we want you root for the gays, you root for your community.
I've hung out with Brett and Mark in real life. It's like I've seen their shows. I've seen, like we talk all the time with them, and so it's like now it's not only. I mean, of course, we love everybody. Who is on the race, but we have a really close connection with them, and it was like not our friends.
I know,
like
really
please, not
really
our
hard.
friends. Yeah.
And we also got some other sweet moments, like Alyssa and Josiah's Matt moment was so sweet. My God,
they are like
their tears on the mat. I got emotional with them too.
Yes.
This was just a crazy episode.
It was a roller coaster from start to finish. We're going into the next week, which is semifinals, finals, and you can really feel that in the air. I think the roller coaster is not over.
No. Can I just say, I fucking love this show. Like, oh my God.
Please
it's so good. This season has been so good.
I know.
The stories are so compelling. The relationships are so complex.
Yeah.
The tasks have been so interesting. The shifts in placements, the twists, the drama, the love, the camaraderie. Like, there is like everything you sort of want from reality TV. I feel like in this season, I feel so lucky to be part of it.
I know. Me too. I feel so lucky. And also major props to production, I think, all down the line, right? From executive producers, story producers, game producers, casting producers. I mean, everybody was firing on all cylinders. Like, I think it has been really, really crazy and amazing. And I'm like so sad that next week it's over. Next week it's done. If you are able, come to our New York semifinale and finale party. 2 days. Wednesday's going to be chiller, but Thursday's going to be raucous. And tar37.eventbrite.com. One ticket both days. It's gonna, so many of the cast members, most of the cast is going to be there. We're going to be doing a reunion with Purple Pants Podcast, which I'm so excited about.
So crazy.
It's just going to be awesome.
Thank you all for being on this journey with us.
I know. Merci
really,
beaucoup.
Like literally.
For
like,
sure.
It's kind of crazy that this is almost over. And you know what? I'm so proud of us.
I'm so proud.
We made it to finale week.
I know.
Bitch.
Final four.
Final four. I know. If you would have told me that when we started at 14.
Gag.
Much
love. See you next week for episode 11 of The Amazing Race, season 37, Season of Surprises on CBS and Paramount Plus. Only.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Mwah.